Hi there, Zam here from NerdTube. These are my thoughts and spoilers of the Mayor of Kingstown Season 4, Episode 7, My Way. Lots of things happen in this episode, various subplots and all of that. Branches of all these different characters happening. So much to talk about. So let's start off by talking about Mike. Because I feel Mike is playing a very dangerous game now. And I think he's kind of laid his foundations and decided to go down this route for the sake of his brother. He knows that despite giving words of wisdom and saying to his brother, if you do this, that, or the other, I'll keep you safe, or you'll be kept safe, he knows that can only take him so far. And his brother is in danger whilst his brother's in jail, and he feels very responsible for that. He wants his brother out of jail, and by doing so, he's going to actually put other friends and allies of his up against each other so his brother can get out of jail. And one of those friends, and a close friend that is Bunny. Bunny is in hospital right now because of an ambush by the Colombians. But the way Mike has told Bunny, and Bunny's come out of his coma, that yeah, Frank Moses did all this, and because of that, Bunny will now be going after Frank. But what Mike wants to, and he wants Bunny to play along, is that he wants Frank to go to jail. That way his brother can come out of jail. And this, in a way, will be worse for Frank, because Frank is supposed to be this, this clean-cut guy. So for him to end up in jail will be far worse for his reputation than to be killed. But he might end up dying. If he does die, he might end up looking like a martyr. So yeah, go to jail is what's best for Frank. And regarding jail, our warden, Nina Hobbs, she's obviously dealing for the Colombians in jail by having money and product go through and from between the prison. And our little prison guard who works for Bunny, he ends up getting some information from the prison by knowing when the next tow truck is going to be moving along, which will have some of the goods in it. Gets that information out to Frank, and then Frank and his boys ends up hijacking that truck, killing the driver instantly and taking all the belongings. Now, our Colombians are not happy about this, and Nina's shitting herself knowing that this has happened. But when she does go home thinking that she's safe, our baby-faced assassin jumps on her, ties her up, and throws her into a bathtub. And I have to say, credit to Nina Hobbs credit to the soprano lady actress for doing this, because she did her own little stunt there. She got thrown into a fucking bathtub with her hands tied behind her back, and that's no mean feat for a woman of her age as well. So credit to her for that little stunt, and they really played it well. They made her character piss herself because she was so fucking scared about being possibly killed at that particular moment. She was so frightened that she threw her own friend Torres under the bus, blamed him for the reason why that truck got hijacked. So maybe Torres might end up getting killed, collateral damage for Nina to stay alive. But Nina will have to find out exactly what has happened. Eddie Falco, her name is, by the way. Find out exactly what's happened regarding who got the information on that truck. And obviously that's going to lead back to Bunny's prison boy and prison warden guy, prison guard guy. And he himself has spoken to Mike, and Mike is giving him reassurances that he will be okay as long as he follows the rules. But the prison warden guard guy knows that those are just words and anything can happen to him. And I do feel eventually something might happen to him. I do feel that eventually him playing both sides and pretending to be a prison guard whilst working for the Crips is going to catch up with him eventually. We'll see. I also like seeing Robert in this episode. Robert had a lot of screen time, and usually when a secondary or maybe a third-dary, is there such a word? A third categorized or whatever character ends up getting a lot of screen time, they possibly end up dying at the end of the episode as well. That's why they get so much screen time. So that way you can really mourn their fucking death or feel shocked that they died. Because look at the screen time they're getting. Carney kind of got that to a degree. Anyways, Robert's not necessarily dead, but Ian, our snake in the grass, Ian, the guy who likes to pretend to be your friend and tries to come across as reasonable Ian is the one who set up Robert for his death. He pretends to get drunk with him at the bar. Oh, he's not even drinking most of his drink. He's spilling it on the floor so he can stay sober. And then he takes he takes Robert back home and puts Robert, who's absolutely passed out drunk, in the front seat of the car. It has all these fumes going on in the garage of Robert's house where the car is, and then leaves the garage, closes the door behind him, and lets all these fumes consume Robert. The windows are open in his car. Robert's passed out in the driving seat of his car, and it's without doubt that Ian is trying to kill Robert. Now, whether Robert survives this or not, we don't know. I mean, the ending was left up in the air, but yeah, if Robert does survive this, then Ian's fucked. Ian's fucked, but Robert's fucking nuts, and Robert might be able to put two and two together. Who knows? Maybe Ian is smart enough to talk his way out of it. He has done it before. Like I said, Ian comes across as a guy who wouldn't hurt a fly. No, necessarily, he seems quite loyal or whatever. But deep down, he's a fucking snake in the grass. So, he's a terrible person. And so we'll see what happens. I mean, Robert knows that he's a terrible person to a degree. I mean, they killed that that witness, even though Robert was the first guy to shoot a bullet in him, but it didn't take long for Ian to finish him off properly. So who knows? We'll see how that pans out as well. Now, regarding Callahan, he's been moved to general population, and whilst doing so, he finally gets to see who his roommate is, his cellmate is, and obviously that's Kyle. And he gets a good look at Kyle, and he talks to Kyle for a little bit before he gets fully moved. And I'm thinking to myself, why is he allowed to talk outside the Kyle's cell for so long? I mean, surely he'll get moved along. But then you realise later on that the prison guard who has Callahan is also a white supremacist as well. Anyways, Callahan is trying to come to some sort of agreement with Kyle, but Kyle wants nothing to do with it. And obviously Callahan's really pissed off with this because Callahan is giving Kyle stuff, drugs, and all manners of things, advice, as well as save his life earlier on when the Colombians tried to kill him. So Callahan's not happy with all of this, but Kyle does come back with some jibes of his own, saying that you're nothing in here. You think you're something. You won't be remembered. You'll be forgotten. You're not even a footnote. It'll be a memory loss. While people like him and his brother, and his elder brother who passed away, his mother, they'll be remembered for doing good in the city. And yeah, it was a good return from Kyle. And yeah, Kyle is just a great character, by the way. He really is. He's the younger brother, but he's no shrinking violet. And obviously he gives a damn about his wife as well, tries to communicate with her and stuff like that. We'll see if Kyle survives this. I mean, you always worry about Kyle being Mike's brother. In the last 3 seasons, he survived so much. And will he survive this? Who knows? I hope he does. But the killing of Kyle is just a stupid thing in my opinion. Mike needs his brother. So, yeah, but regarding Callahan, he's back in general population. He's working in the kitchens. And a fight gets orchestrated in the mess hall of the kitchen, which takes away the attention of the guards. And then people like Callahan and one other get put into a sort of table, which is there to serve food. It's got a little cabinet in there, but they're able to hide themselves by putting some fake items in there that looks like it belongs in there, but really it's just there to cover Callahan up. Fake trays with big gaps inside them to make sure they fit around Callahan whilst he's underneath and inside that table. And these tables then get taken to some third-party company that obviously supplies shit to the jail, and they get put into a truck, and then the truck gets sent out, and now the truck is out of jail, and Callahan and his mate have broken out of jail. And yeah, they're going to probably come after Mike, maybe. I don't know what they're going to do, to tell you the truth. I don't know. I mean, like, Callahan's out of prison. Is he going to fight for white supremacy still? Or is he going to want revenge? Or is he going to just look for a place to stay and keep his nose down? I mean, who knows? I have no fucking idea. But regardless, he's out. And we'll find out what he wants next week. But with all that's going on in this episode, with setups by Mike, going after, making Bunny go after Frank and trying to get Frank to take the fall, and in order for his brother to be released from jail, one bad guy for jail in order for Carl to be released. One favor for another, I guess. With Robert possibly being killed, with Callahan now out of jail, actually escaped, broken out. Like, what the fuck's gonna happen next? This is so much. And Evelyn, obviously, is she gonna go with the prosecution of Frank Moses? Probably. I mean, there's not much more she can go on for, because she can't get rid of Robert because her witness is dead. It's just, like, what the fuck? So, there's just so many endless things to be resolved. Oh, let's not forget, the creepy guy, the guard. The one who has the hots for Cindy. I mean, he has the hots for everybody. But Cindy starts to realise about this guy because everyone else in the prison tries to keep away from him. He's bad news, they know. So, like, when it's lunchtime, he goes to sit down and have his lunch, Mr. Creepy Guard. And everyone else who's there leaves, except for Cindy. But after having a little chat with Mr. Creepy Guard, she decides to leave too. And she's hardly touched her fucking food. So, she's getting the vibe from him as well. The creepy guard himself was kind of exposed by one of the prisoners who talked about him, being a fucking creep. And he triggered him, and he beat the fuck out of this guy by smacking his head against the gate. But, it's all out in the open. And obviously Carl, who saw all of this happen, but this happened in isolation, the section of the prison. I think he might know that that's the guard who was making moves on his wife. So, we'll see what happens regarding that. There's just so much. There's just so much happened in this episode. There's like, wow. I mean, when this episode began, it was 52 minutes long. And I was really happy because, I like a long episode. I like my episodes of a series to be close to an hour. That's how it should be. And it makes sense why this episode was so jam-packed, because so much fucking happened. Anyway, let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube. I'm going to give this episode a solid 9 out of 10. To be so intriguing and to have so much going on, and to still know that more has to come from all of this. It's far from being resolved. And you're really worried about some of our characters now. Like, like I said with Mike, what Mike's doing, he really could fuck himself up with Bunny. I really do think. I mean, him and Bunny have been tight for a long time, but what he's doing now, he will never get Bunny's trust ever again if Bunny finds out that he was fucking with him, and that could be Mike dead, or basically the Crips after him for the rest of his life. Who knows? Anyway, let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest social media channel you never heard of. Take care. Bye-bye.